Podcast. Okay, no, I wasn't muted. My gain was down. I had literally checked to make sure that my quadcast was on when it before things happened, and yet I am stupid because I had been recording last VR chat session for online, funny thing, and I had made sure that it said hypercast. No, my gain was just down because I hit the bottom of my mic. Hi everybody, I hope y'all are doing well. Oh my god, I am so tired. I need to taunt anyone, and I'm just gonna be a mod. First and foremost, I hope everybody is well. Today is Thursday, March. Oil some more. Oh, we're doing well. Kinda, Kappa, Austin. Who's hitting again? I change filter. 1 second. I remember I open and threshold. My open and close threshold got screwed up again because I was connecting things to my, because I was changing settings on my headset and all. Is this better? Right, is this threshold better or is this worse? I need feedback, people. Sounds it so far? Seems better? Okay, so I remember I was like trying to diagnose things when it comes to it, and that was the main problem that I noticed. Now, I know this is the AI overview, but I had clicked on threads before, but that was the main thing that I think got screwed up in my translation settings when it comes to it then. So I'm gonna ride with this, and I'll check things back on the VOD in that case then. So if y'all can hear me making coherent sentences right now, then I will take that then, okay? Anyway, today is March 26th, Thursday. It is 9:25 p.m. Typically, this would be 30 minutes left to stream. Quite frankly, I only just settled in after finishing my dinner of soup. It has been a day full of talking, to where my throat is killing me. Again, if we could have essential workers, like if retail workers were considered essential workers, I need a lot more provisions and love in that case then. So much more. Because this has been so much of a bother, and I can't believe how much I've had to get through when it comes to it then. But anyway, Rena, Kappa, Austin, Zui, I hope y'all are doing well. Thank you for 21 months, Kappa. The Sun's Fired is what it's called. I put on a DDBY album, and I know from the intro that this is Fall of Fall. Because, haha, Toho nerd, I don't even have to look at it, I just know immediately that is Fall of Fall. But yeah, it's a DDBY. I don't think it's like one specific DDBY album. It's just a jazz range that I have on because I have a whole YouTube playlist of just anytime I find a Toho song, I put it in my playlist so I can just have that there. So also get Hazard Point, customers be crazy. We've been threatened so much. I'm honestly surprised I haven't been stabbed, but then again, we've been robbed at knife point or before. Okay, not my current location, but my previous jobs and all that. So what am I supposed to say then, dude? I say that as the next place I'm looking to prospect and working on at, if they respond to me, is a bank. So if I'm gonna get robbed at a bank, we'll see how that goes. Anyway, I've been showing my progress on Rose's tiara on stream when it comes to it then, and I've also been making her book, the Ivory Tome, that I've been posting in my Discord, which you really aren't a part of it, then I advise y'all to go ahead and join already in that case then. I'm trying not to be GM just a little bit so it's not overpowering me. But, next order of business is that I ordered a lot of stuff when it comes to it then, so I just printed the Pauldron, but I need to get actual solid matte pink paint. I have the book, the Ivory Tome, but I got gold in the dark blue paint without meaning to, which is not showing up at all. It just fits that. But the main thing next for prop-wise is I need to make her little dagger right here. If y'all can see my cursor in that case then. So, hoping for the best, I said hoping for the best as soon as I saw it the bank, you saying bank in chat right now. Hoping for the best in my job search. If they get back to me, that's all we can ask for. But at least for now, as I change my screen regions, we're back in the 3D mapping point, and I'm going to be going back and forth. So I'm going to put this on my second monitor real quick. That way I can keep working at this. So how am I gonna do this dagger? I do actually want to be able to have it be in like the little sheath itself and take it out when it comes to them. So the main idea that I'm gonna be shooting at is I'm basically gonna be working with a shape. I'm gonna be working shape-wise, just kind of like this. Now I'm just spurting off immediate ideas here to where I'm going to have to cut it like this, essentially. That way I can get this kind of like curved shape. And then I'll make one version to where it's like really small. That's it. I'll make one version that's exactly that. Then I'll make an upscaled version that's just slightly bigger that encompasses the entirety of the original. I will then make it hollow. That way I will be able to basically get my outline for how well, I'll get this and I'll keep stretching things around, essentially then. If I combine y'all again real quick. No, that's not what I meant to do. I need y'all to combine to get that half moon. But essentially, after I make the dagger itself, the sheath will be the easy thing of once I get like the dagger shape and all, I'm gonna get like a bigger kind of shape like that or so, size it to fit the dagger, and then when I have it, glomp it, essentially, and eat whatever the dagger shape is. So I'm just like tossing this as an example, and I might have to like play around with like the shape and contour of it all. But essentially, once I get the dagger inside of here, like I'm not trying to make a perfect thing when it comes to it. Like, I'm not trying to make this perfect, but the big thing is once I get the dagger to actually stick out of the frame. So if I raise this up and back it up, I want it to be able to sit on the outside. That way I can actually slide it in and out. So I'm just going to make this thinner just for example's sake here. But when I do get the dagger shape, this would be like the sheath, essentially then. Oh, and the dagger would get to slide in and out. Okay, well, it's a lot harder to show it off, but hopefully my methodology is explaining it right there when it comes to it then. But that's going to be the idea. Because I want to be able to pull the dagger out, and of course, it's just going to be a prop, it's just plastic, and I'm probably going to have to check the prop check. But it's much easier than it just being like, oh, it's just a dagger exposed, because that's kind of irresponsible. Plus, then I can actually have it tied via my paracord that I bought to the sheath itself then. The main thing is that I need to be working on shape first. So what I am going to be doing is I am going to be using this bow shape as my basis. I'm going to be squeezing you down by like a lot, my good sir. I don't want to be completely flat, but it's going to have some shape contour. So I'm not going to get like the perfect sword shape, essentially, when it comes to it then. But that is the idea here. I'm just going to say 65 just raw, just to plan with it as an idea. Make a copy here. And the big thing to note is that I'm trying to get that crescent moon shape. Whenever I do combine them, that is the main thing that I want. So I'm going to be raising you up here. And I'm trying to get it to be exactly so. Because the main thing is that I want to have as much of that as possible, which means I can stretch and squash a little bit here. Maybe something like this just about then. That way I get the little tip of the dagger as best as I can. And then I can work on filtering out the body to be a little bit more square when we get to the base then. Because how thick are you, my friend? You are 8. So thickness I'll change this to 8 as well. Because main thing that I need to have is that when I'm combining this, I need this kind of like shaping here to be as well rounded as I can help it then. Because I don't care how ovular this gets, I just need this to like be a solid baseline that I can then cut with a square to make the little hilt, as you can kind of see essentially. At least for now, I think that would be good. Yeah, so this is going to be another work stream, and I'm just going to be explaining my methodology and process as I go along here with everything, but I just wanted to have an excuse to just, 1, keep working on cosplay, and 2, get to just talk about my woes and everything like that as per usual, considering how work has been going for me. Quite frankly, it's not getting any easier with every single passing day, quite frankly. Why did you not combine them the way I wanted you to? Okay, idea's there, but I need the shape to be, like, well wider. And then I can just, make you wider and then sink you down. That way you eat the entirety of the shape. Good. Because I need to get away from work, and I'm only able to get away from work ever so much, just due to circumstances and everything like that. Okay, good idea, Cruzy. Don't use the shape, use a solid. Don't use the circle with kind of like the contour. Instead, use a solid cylinder. That way, you're not gonna have that kind of like half-eaten Pac-Man shape. Instead, when you do get it all out here, it'd be solid like that. So yeah, a solid shape. Not bad. Should probably do with heating the bottom a little bit more. So how much does it curve? Isn't really enough. Let's tolerate it right there. Is that too little? I know it's a little bit too little. Okay, let's not change the entire shape. Let's use it. I need this end to be eaten though. So if I do it like that, I think that'll be a good compromise out of these three. Yeah, like again, main priority at the end of the day will still be getting a new whole ass job, which is the biggest thing. But if things don't, but right now, job market and searching is hard. Of course, I've applied out, I've done my diligence again, and I'm just kind of waiting on if anything gets back to me, or if like even HR gets back to me, if I can stick around for store closure, everything like that. But as it stands, there has been nothing that's gotten back to me yet, so I've just got to treat it exactly as such, which is again super unfortunate, and I'm just doing what I can. My dad worked at the bank for many years, so it's a good place. Yeah, and I'm hoping that especially because it's the because I've been applying to the bank that I use, and at the very least, I've only ever had pleasant experiences with my current bank. So if it all works out, then that'll be a pretty decent employment, maybe then. We'll see. Now, if they get back to me, I did my pre-screening and everything like that or so, or at least when you sent the application and all, there's that. And even if they do respond to me, then it'll be situations where it's like, all right, well, now you need to complete this assessment. I was like, now you need to complete the drug test and all that. But if I'm ready at that point, then I probably had my interview and I'm ready through the door in that case overall, you know? So hoping for the best, hoping. But that's all that we can really do right now, you know? But how is life going for everybody else? Because I say as I cut myself off to take a sip of my tea, I really shouldn't have streamed, but I need to fix my backlog schedule, because if I check my upload schedule, just on how it is going on in the month right now, it is not necessarily going the best, due to the fact that I am getting to the end here. Today's March 26th, we'll be at March 27th, and this is all the backlog that I have right now. I will tell you that right now, because even if I get this just chatting stream out here in that case, then just chatting, and I'll get like a few good VODs out of it, that'll just keep pushing on this line here, and that'll keep buffering me through April. But again, Grand's wedding week is always out here, and unless I find more clips in Shadowplay that I can really do in another series that I can find a good time to stream, which I might do. I remember people were said I was thinking about Slay the Spy, but those runs can take a while. And I think Crimson said that I always seemed happy when I was playing the Biscuit game, your Yami Biscuit. So maybe I can come back to that then, but at least for my own sake, I need to fill this out just for my own peace of mind and the fact that this is keeping me productive on one end. Now, am I making brain busters when it comes to it then for, what's his face? When it comes to for views? Not necessarily, but this is my consistency. And I can be happy with my consistency, even if I'm still only getting single-digit views on my stuff when it comes to it then. Fact is, hey look, this is what I consider to be efficient and productive for my VTube life, considering how my job life is blown up on me. I kind of need help on that. You know, community board games are something to do quick and easy. Well, I still want it to be good content, I say, when it comes to, and it doesn't have to be like big and fast stuff. Quite frankly, the dream would be get an orange juice night so I can yell at my friends with each other, and those games are taking like 20-30 minutes then, but that's neither here nor there. So again, I want to actually just be putting content out because it was something that I actually did get to clip out at like a good 20-30 minute segments or so, and not for it to just be content for the sake of content. Because at that point then, I'm trying to meet deadlines. And yes, I'm saying this as I'm being like, I need to meet this deadline. But this is the difference between like, it's the difference between like, oh, swap for the swap engine. Like, brother, I'm streaming to like 3 or 4 people. Hi, Golden. I'm uploading videos to like 8, 7 people. I only get boosts whenever it's a new series for a little bit then, or if it's ever Omega Strikers in that case then or so, you know? So it's nothing too much, but it's more of just, again, this is my own pride point that I can keep this up, because one, it's my invisible streak of, yeah, people can like maintain their Duolingo streak or their Dotcha game streak. I have not missed a video upload in the past 2.5 years, and I will not continue to miss it for a daily video upload. So at the very least, April 4th might have something to say about it then. But then again, my Solo Rabbit and Steel did pewter out there, even though I should continue doing it. That way I can, what's his face? That way I can keep pulling it out. To be fair, so the Spire 2 has been kind of pulling it out, kind of like my Hades 2 runs. I've been playing a lot offline. And a lot of the uploads that I have coming up are going to be no commentary streams, or no commentary runs that I just had been going when it comes to it then. So we'll see how it goes, but fact is, again, this is just my own, this is my stability. Streaming is, it's weird for me to say that streaming is my stability more than my job. Like, this is the one thing that's unchanging, I say, as I've lacked the proper schedule posting since like a whole entire year now when it comes to it then. Whereas my job life, my work life, my apartment life, everything like that has all been changing so much that that's too much for me to worry about. Whereas I can just be like, okay, stream, upload this, make a few thumbnails, and just put it away. I just spent this morning, 30 minutes before work, just cleaning up my downloads folder and putting all my thumbnails in my respective thumbnail folders and everything like that. And that felt really, really darn good, dude. Like, that just felt good in general. Do my best to design a new character every week, just keep up my art practice. There you go. You should be doing character adoption commissions though, Smile, so you can make some money and people can learn about you more. Alright, I know that this shape is, what's his face, it looks almost like a triangle in this case then, if I'm looking at it in this way, but I need it to still like be to like the ends of this dagger here. So what I'm going to be doing is I am going to be getting a square that if I rotate it a few degrees, like 15 degrees or so. How are you doing, Jordan, by the way? I'm going to try to cut it to try to be that contour. So if I do something like this on both sides, the idea here is that it's not going to be a rounded edge, or like a rounded kind of thing right there, but it's actually going to line up a little bit better. Like, I'm just going to go ahead and try and see how it looks, just as an idea. But you can kind of see that right there. So it looks a little bit better. I just need to chop this little lopsided end off and not make it look so derpy, because it needs to be a little bit extended out actually. So I'll probably have to do like 2 cuts. Or I'll have to do a cut like this here, where I'm going to make this transparent and have that eat on it. Perfect. Take you a little. Same thing, honestly. Actually, thinking about it here. Where I wanted to eat the shape just a little bit at that connection point. Otherwise, it will need to naturally curve that way. And then cut the top off so it doesn't seem as big. Because with all these clear points, then that's actually pretty decent. That's eating a little bit too much into the ends though, as circles. I just need the shape of it, but you're seeing here how I'm making the little dagger hill. So rather, I need these circles to be rotated a bit. Rather, again, don't use the circles, use cylinders, Cruzy. Use cylinders. Cylinders are your best friend in the situation here. I'm going to turn snapping off, that way I can try to get perfect shape for this here. I just have to be a little bit of a drag and drop situation then. I don't want you eating any of the dagger itself. I might just have to do this in like multiple cylinders as a thing. If I can help it. Now, may have to compromise right there, but let's try it one side at a time. So combine it all. That's pretty decent, honestly, without eating into the corner right there too much. Might move you up by like a few millimeters though. So let's say, how does that look? Actually, that looks pretty damn good, honestly. Yeah, that's a pretty nice hilt. I just need to adjust the top, because the top is a little bit curved for how the hilt is rather. It's a little curved towards the left side, so that would look... Yes, that's actually really, really good. Holy cruisy. And then again, I just need to cut a little bit on this side right here. That way it looks a little bit more ingress. Or ingress is definitely not the right word. It's a little bit, I just like not circular. I'm trying to quantify this in a better way. So we're just gonna be, so like curving this end here a little bit. Change it to 1 millimeter that I'm adjusting this by. That, or I also might just need to squeeze this shape. That's nice. That's... oh, I don't know if I like that necessarily. In which case, then I just have to hold this up a little bit more. Just go so hard with the idea people like my drawings, I can't see it. I'm not, you keep making drawings for me and my friends, so I don't know about that now when it comes to then. Doing art for other people doesn't feel good. I worry too much about how people like it. But you keep making like characters that you like it, or like, you know, like at least ideas that you like and people appreciate it, so I guess the pressure is extrinsic when now people are expecting you to see it rather than are expecting to see what you do, rather than you just kind of like do it and just being like made a doodle, or you know, like, alright, here's a sketch, whatever, when it comes to it then, you know? But like if you have this pressure on you, that's not necessarily an inherently bad thing. Rather, I think the problem that I'm gonna be that I'm reconvening with it then is that, like, what is your goal as an artist then? Is it your own personal journey, or are you trying to do this like when you make fan art for friends and all and everything like that? Besides just being like, oh, well, they're a good friend or so. Like, what is your end goal in that case then? Are you just being an artist because you like? Okay, of course, yeah, because I like art, but you get what I mean, right? Alright, so honestly, I think this is getting pretty solved out here. And then I literally have the easiest cheat that I'm going to do, which is, once I combine all of you, I am going to use my flip tool, which I only just discovered the other day. Flip this exactly then. And use this other end to kind of faux the dagger to kind of faux like the grip to the dagger itself. I just need to rotate you just a little bit in this case then, and probably shrink you. Because I'll do that, and then I literally just need to cut it in that case then. So cut it at the edge. Most about this craft are basically drawn with negative space by erasing bits. Exactly. Most creators struggle with that to some degree do of your art, so you just need to get okay with that and accept it. Kind of like how like Rena needs to accept that she is loved and that she deserves to be recognized for her great efforts and everything like that, right? I know I harped on it once again, and as much as I'm like, I don't care about the numbers and all, like, it still is demoralizing a bit to see single-digit views on most of my content and all, but then again, I'm a daily content creator, not everybody's necessarily looking for that, or I'm not doing it striving to algorithm trends, I'm doing my own thing. Red is making like solid 10, like double digits on like Gunvolt already. Remote Command streams for her new bot, as she calls it, were, you know, making double digits when it started, and of course it skewed a little bit, but it still was more on average on me. She did more average viewers on my stuff when it comes to it than now. But I've been in this biz for 5 years already, going on 6 this year, and if I was concerned about numbers, I would have burned out way earlier, or I would have asked Akane if I could have gotten in for a corporate contract, and I would have been like, I'll just take it and be in a black environment. Then again, I'm already in a black work environment with the fact that I've been closing the store and the customers hate our guts, dude, and we don't have the help. Please help my ass so much. Alright, I'm gonna use the restroom real quick and get some more tea, so give me just a little bit here, people. Alright, y'all, I'm back. Episode 2 of Making the Dagger, and by that, I mean, like, I'm pretty much almost getting there hilariously. I think for the, what's his face? I think for like the decal on how there's a pink end and then a gold end when it comes to it, I'm probably just gonna have that painted on in that case. Because that's gonna be a sheath, and then I can just decide what I want this lovely dagger color to be otherwise then. Itself for the sheen. Make it a nice factory new, sell it on the CS2 marketplace for $1 million gajillion, and then retire to be a streamer with all that money. God, dude, I wish I was into Counter-Strike more when I was in middle school. That way I could have 1 million skins that I could sell for like $100 each. But unfortunately, all I've got is like the TF2 backpack, which really isn't that worth that much when it comes to it then. That reminds me of a really good story on how one of my friends, Tyler, if you ever exist in any retrospective or anything like that or so, or you ever find me through any sort of influence, I hope that you know that you were a big influence in a lot of my creative works with the fact that you had your very own 3D printer at home, which when I had come over to your house back in high school, which inspired me to get my own 3D printer that has been lovingly doing this stuff here, like printing out what we have here, of course, when it comes to it then, or going to be printing out what we have here, and also doing things that was like, that was revolutionary time, like how you were mining for Bitcoin, unironically back then. Holy dude, if only I had like some Bitcoin just like stored away from you back in high school, I could have made a killing then. But then again, I also didn't buy GameStop stock during the pandemic and looked at where everybody was from that end then. They are actual virtual millionaires, or rather like the people who like had GameStop stock, you know, like, and cashed out on that pretty well. Like, that's, congrats, happy for you. But man, dude, man, there's so many opportunities that I could have like made so much money if I was in, you know, if I had the foresight to just invest a little bit into like XYZ or so, you know? But that's just life, that's just how it goes. Can't do too much about that in that case then. But it always makes me think of like, I guess like futures market in that case, and like, if only I'd been investing more into XYZ or so when it comes to it then. Or if only I was smart enough to do things like entertain the stock market. Now I know, like, I'll tell like one cool story. Like, my dad is pretty business savvy when it comes to like eyeing out things. Like, I'll say like one very good thing right now on how what's his face? On how I keep tapping. I have 3 tabs open right now. This is my upload schedule tab. This is my Rose reference tab, and then this is my 3D printing tab on my Chrome right now. I keep tapping into it. I need to close my upload schedule tab so I can have it here then. In that case, then. Hello, MetaMaster196. Hindsight's 2020 after all. Yeah, but I feel like for me, it's like it's always just things like I'm seeing people do on the sides. Like, I could invest a little bit more. Like, I'll say like it transitions into my current story and how my dad, for instance, he used to have Apple stocks, like, back in the day when it was still, like, way early of, like, it wasn't, like, even, like, iPhones at the time. It was only, like, you know, like, early iPods and everything like that or so. And he sold that, like, he had, like, 5 Apple stocks that he used, and, like, it's always a famous story of, like, my parents have a wedding anniversary, which is really cute and all, of course, but my dad has a immigration story that he always tells every year. And it's so funny because he always opens it up in the same way of, when I was just but a young boy, I left my girlfriend from the Philippines. All that I had was my suitcase, clothes on my back, and $300. And that's how he became, you know, he wasn't a first-gen immigrant, but, you know, he did immigrate out to America when it comes to it then on that side for work. Like, his workplace and all had, like, you know, like, requested him and whatever, and he was, like, taken over. And he was like, and we are in the city that we are now because of that. And the big thing about it is, what's his face? I'm trying to, like, eat all of these ends here, if you can't tell what I'm trying to do. So if I keep moving, then it keeps moving up or down. So I'm trying to see if I can eat this entire shape. But, when it comes to it, that $300 was essentially 5 Apple stocks they had sold back in the day to be able to immigrate for work to have money so he could continue on because he was in medical school and all. And then his first job assignment was, hey, can you immigrate out from the Philippines to the United States? We already have like work lined up for you and all. You just need to find like an apartment or a house plan or so, and then you have your stable work and all. and you'll be based in this city and everything like that or so. But if my dad never took that call and instead stayed in the Philippines, one, I wouldn't have met, well, I could have met a lot of you actually. I probably would have met PR way sooner in the pipeline, but I wouldn't be born in America. I'd be born in the Philippines instead. And two, we might have been millionaires if we just sat on that. Because that's 5 Apple stocks, which would have split so many times over back then, dude. Like, holy crap. So, like, oh my goodness gracious. It's that, and like, okay, first and foremost, hi Crimson, hope you're doing well. Yes, I am making Rose's Dagger right now. Look at that. This is shaping out to be pretty decent. I probably need to make the Dagger hilt end or so a little bit thicker, thinking about it when it comes to it then. So I think I need to modify that a little bit more when it comes to it then. I don't know if I can imagine not having met you. Well, when it comes to it, I feel like it's, what's his face? For a lot of people here, that comes by when it comes to here. And I would say this, for example, like, I'm intrusively checking your account when it comes to, because it says on, now it might just be an OBS thing because, again, new computer and all. It says first time chat from you, but you've been following since November to 2022? What was I even doing back then? Because that's my second year of VTubing, and I'll be honest, I have no idea where I was career-wise besides being in college, I think, at the time. I know I don't want to. Crimson, what are you talking about? Like, stabbing? But anyway, back to my story or so. Fact is that like, my dad was sitting on Apple stocks back then, which is so wild. AWA for the photo shoot? Okay, I'll be honest, with all the years blend together, so you need, like, if you tell me who you were cosplaying and such at the time or so, then I think I might be able to recognize a little bit better, but otherwise, I am losing myself a little bit, of course, you know? Because it's a bit hard, and especially with how, like, I've done so much Fire Emblem photo shoots and all that, the years just wane on, Cruzy. The years just continue to wane on. It just gets harder and harder. And oh, that's too much cutting. That's too much cutting. Okay. Select these shapes, please. Don't select this one. Select these. Cut these ones here. That's good. All right, now move you back down here, just about, I think. So if I lift this real quick. Yeah, that's fine. Change the color real quick. I'm gonna be cutting, so I need to be cutting these together then. That'll be good. Yeah, like, I'm losing myself a little bit here, because if I pull up like my cosplay portfolio thing that I did when it comes to that, like 3 years ago. Holy crap. Let me pull up that, because again, I made the portfolio image if I can find it on my Discord. Here we go. Open in browser. Perfect. Because for me cosplaying for what has been 7 going on 8 years now when it comes to them, 20. This is a throwback. 2022. Oh, it was at AWA for the FE photo shoot. What I've done at AWA's, I'm pretty sure I did. I know one of them was Engaged Vagato. I know one of them was Tobin. And then I think I don't remember which Segure it was. I think it was it PA? No, I did performing arts Segure and Momo. I remember posing with the Heroes emblem. Was it Resplendent? Oh, dude, the years are blending on me so much. But I'm sorry if I don't immediately remember you, Mega Master. I mean, I was going to go on where it says 2022, then in which case I'm pretty sure it was my Tobin, but I am losing myself. Make it easier. Oh, it's photo. said that you were Foldle earlier on, I would have recognized you, man. Now I feel like such an insensitive jerk for not recognizing a name that I've seen pop up so much too, from both the server and also like the bathrooms too. Like, oh my goodness, I have so much edge on my face right now. Well, hey, Chief. I hope you're doing all right now. What? This has been a lot. This has been so long when it comes to it for getting through everything. In like both in my life right now when it comes to it, and also due to the fact that my everything besides my online situation has been so horrible for everything developing onwards that I'm just kind of like, all right, lose myself in cosplay and all. But man, even then, looking at how much Fire Emblem cosplay I've done, and the fact I'm gonna get to add 2 more notches to this belt here, because I am making Rose when it comes to it then, and then, well, Crimson, yes, what's his face then too, like, it's gonna be you're gonna be the one wearing Kurt, but I still need to make the cosplay for you, which means I get to do a photo shoot with myself as both Rose and Kurt. I've been around long enough to be just with my privileges would be straight without you. In no way is that judgmental or statement. I wish to express joy, responding to meta. Oi, Crimson just wanted to mention not knowing you can see is swooning. I mean, Crimson's always been swooning for me. We are gonna be period accurate Kurt and Rose, so much so. I'm going to be making sure that she's not separated from my side a little bit. And then again, we're gonna be Tamamo and Oguri anyway then. That's gonna keep going even more. Make a cosplay list someday. I've not been able to watch streams since I was sleep around now for work and probably should be asleep now too. I mean, this is a yapping stream. If you're gonna sleep, comparatively to my other streams, because what, I'm working like mostly at 9 to 5 or like at 11 to 8 or whatever crap like that or so when it comes to then, that it tosses my own schedule out that this is the only time I get to stream. I have in my Discord server, you can work for 18 hours a day, right? Rah! Thank you, Austin. For that fact of I'm working 8 hours at my normal job, commute-wise makes it 9 hours. I'm streaming for 2 hours then, so that's already at 11 hours then. I'm spending half the day working, and that's not including if I'm going to thumbnail or edit or like add it to my YouTube and everything past that then too. That's just, whoa, I'm doing so much. And again, this stream slot is so stuffed because everybody else is either streaming at, morning, afternoon, because, if they have nothing else for the day, then they can point it all for the stream. Some people have, like, that is their full-time job, like D3, who can stream, like, 6 to 8 hours. But then for me, I work a normal day job. At least I will only be working a normal day job for just a little bit more. So we'll see at the end of May if I have a new position or anything like that I can go off of. But this is the only time I can stream, because I'm only home at, like, 7 p.m. onwards. So it's no problem if you can't catch these streams, and of course, like, I appreciate everything that you do for just even coming along and giving me a little bit of love. But this is a bit of a stuffed schedule. If you want to catch anything, the VODs are on YouTube. If you click the panels below, ooh la la, of course, when it comes to it then. And then past that as well, I mean, well, you're here right now. That's all I can count on for the fact. That and also my IRL side hilariously doesn't overlap with my VTubing side too much, but let me refill my water, because that's already ice in my third facility. Thank goodness I only have to walk like 10 feet away to lean over to my sink and get some tap water. But yeah, make a cosplay list. Or if you want, graphic design's my passion. I make my cosplay list every year when it comes to. So I make the cosplay list, and I send it out to the cosplay server that we're in when it comes to. Or I always make my, graphic for what is my upcoming cosplays. And I've done it for, Carrie too already as well. So if you want to, I can just, make a nice little template for you and everything like that or so, and just go on from there, quite frankly. Or go off my templates and do that so you can market yourself and show yourself off. Ooh la la, right? Right. Okay. going on from things. I've been trying to, so, note is just a little bit thicker, which is exactly what I wanted. I'm trying to get like this little like bell end, exactly so, this circular end, with a little bit of a notch, that way I'll be able to attach my paracord to it. Because I'm going to be printing this dagger a bit thick, that way I can actually wave it around, smile, and then past that, you know, everything like that there. Yeah, Kappa, go ahead, take advantage of me in all the right ways. What? Okay, going on from this. One, yes, Crimson's going to be fawning over me, considering how we are going to be cosplaying, you know, Oguri and Tamamo, and then Rose and Current after this when it comes to it then. And I am no stranger to PDA, Public Displays of Affection. So if Crimson wants, I will oblige her. In fact, I'll probably be smooching her so much that she's going to be overwhelmed and very much so embarrassed. She's going to be blushing the entire time that we're going to be at con. I'm going to be real with you people. And again, I'll take that at my own pace if I can help it, Kappa, because again, like, I'm gonna have my own stuff that I'm gonna be working on and all of that. But if I can find some time in the meantime, then yeah, I'll go ahead and make that outdress then. I made that little cosplay like board for you then. Me being one of my friends with Haru and Rice. Well, I mean, all the more Uma, and of course there's 2 Uma shoots when it comes to it then. Take your time, not gonna rush you. That also reminds me, I need to post something up real quick. Photo shoots on MomoCon. Did the time change? Because I remember when I was looking at the photo shoot list and all right here on the website, I thought I spotted on here that Total Project was at 5 p.m. sharp. But now it says basically at the 5:30 p.m. At the 5:30 shoot. The Total Project shoot at 5:30 instead of 5, which I'm not complaining if you got that changed around when it comes to it then. But that gives me a little bit more time, both Crimson and I. Well, okay, Crimson's not crosspoint total, but you get the point. For me to run over from the Omni Courtyard to Be Upper Fountain, quick change live on set into Kagasa, and then go on from there then, you know? And then if I wanted to, I could also cosplay Deadwood, but I am not putting the pot to cosplay because it's outdated. So, thank you for that. You're doing the Lord's work for me. I know it's just circumstantial, but my gods. Anyway, I keep going on tangents, but hey, this is my yapping stream. Deadlock Pocket. When it comes to, I remember this came up to you, Crimson, but when I cosplayed Pocket, this was still like way early days when it comes to it then. And this is how Pocket looked, if you're still around here, Crimson, like, as like first renders and all. Now, of course, this is updates when it comes to it then, and like redesigns and everything, because the game is still unannounced, but they did get a visual update to where you can see here, coat's a bit more battered up. It's got 2 layers when it comes to it then. It now has, like, the scarf is not a solid red, but kind of like more orangey with like these kind of like, almost like, fingers like the Hidden King just about what it comes to. And, like, hairstyle, shorter cut instead of it being a bit more kind of like curled over, I guess, when it comes to then. A bit more bobbous, right, because it's going above the ear. And just a good little bit more design details that makes Pocket look a good bit different in that case then. Still same main identity, but you're seeing here, like, immediately, there is like both lighting, coloring differences, and overall design. Because the main thing that really just didn't change with them is, you know, like gun, briefcase, orange, I'd say not orange, brown vest, undershirt, tie, pants, boots are the same, but the coat, it still has like, some of those pockets or so, but it's a bit more beat up and cut up at the bottom. In that case then, when it comes to it, the scarf is well different, at least coloring wise. It was just, again, solid red scarf, as opposed to it being kind of like this red going on orange, almost like the Hidden King again when it comes to then for the colors and all. Hairstyle is different when it comes to as well too. So I'd have to get actually a new wig instead. I'd have to get a straight wig that I would cut rather than using my own hair. In that case then, if I really want to make it as accurate as possible, and just other small realistic details. So, yeah, still mostly that in that case then. But yeah, like, it's, oh my goodness gracious. I'm glad there's only 2 Uma shoots and not 3. And I think Mary pointed out that there's 3 amazing digital circus shoots. So yeah, there's one Thursday. Friday. I thought there was one. Unless I was tweaking. I know that there is one on Saturday. And unless there was a third one then. So I thought that was the one that's taking the cake for most photo shoots this year so far. That I know Carrie's doing Valve when it comes to it then, because they're bringing their shell from Portal. Again, too, always comes to my mind of crashing the VTuber shoot by cosplaying as myself. And nobody will understand a single thing, but hey, that's fine enough too. Digital Search is a hot fan. No, I mean, episode, what, 7 or 8 came out when it comes to that, and I've been seeing things freak out when it comes to it then. I've been seeing people understandably freak out about whatever's going on, and like, I haven't just been interested in that series or so, but then again, I didn't get into like Hello Boss, Has Been Hotel, and that's not like seeing a correlation. It's just kind of like big internet series. I just never got into like any of those ones that have really popped up around in popularity, so I'm just kind of like, to it. I don't have any strong feelings, positive or negative. It's just kind of there. But hey, props to them. And at the very least, cosplayers for all of those have been very, very cool all the time too. Uma on Saturday, since it gives you the most time to change after its next shoot. I mean, Uma's at 12, and then our shoots afterwards. Fire Emblem for me is at 4, and then Toa at 5:30. So I can order, like, what I'm gonna be doing is with Crimson, because since Friday, it's only the Uma shoot that I have to worry about then. That I can just stay as Tamamo, and Crimson can stay as Aguri the entire day. Then Saturday, we can just have that to be our morning. We'll go back to the hotel, change into Kurt and Rose, and then Crimson can stay as Kurt, otherwise then as we go to Toho Project afterwards. And then I'll just quit chains. I'll probably be wearing Kagasa underneath Rose in that case then, is my thoughts. So I can just strip that down and, you know, I'd stop wearing 2 layers of cosplay, probably sweating like a bitch when it comes to it then. So we'll be good. We'll be good when it comes to it then. Toho for Friday morning, spread word about the Toho shoot. Okay, no, in that case then that, yeah, that makes sense, but we might just be all going back to our hotels in that case then overall, you know? So, all good, we're figuring it out, and the fact is like, you know, we're gonna be good here. I'm surprised, because I'm pretty sure, though, like, I will say, like, since I'm doing Gina Estrada, there's no Ace Attorney shoot this year, which I was pretty sure there's always been, like, Ace Attorney shoots in past years, even if it is just, like, a 30-minute shoot. That still is a bit sad. But hey, not every fandom is always gonna be represented. I mean, Mary was pretty happy that Identity 5 is actually getting a photo shoot this year, so they're probably gonna be going to that Friday morning. We'll probably accompany them just, you know, to have, like, some friends when it comes to. But hey, as much as we can. Shoot apps haven't completely closed yet? Yeah, because more of these have been adding on when it comes to it then over time, of course. So we'll see, but at least, you know, for planning-wise, I have my schedule out. We already just saw that. So we'll see how it goes then. Okay, back to this here. So again, this lining here will just be paracord that I will be tying to the dagger. Otherwise, I think shape-wise, if I combine all of you here, I am not happy with how that bellend exactly is here, I'll be honest with you. I mean, it is a little bit off, I guess, when it comes to then, so it's not the worst ever. I think I might want it eaten in a little bit more, though. A little bit more rounded then, that way it takes up a bit more of the shape. And then I can lower this a little bit here. So I want that to actually be like a bit more of a grip end that actually looks a little bit more natural. Since I do it bunches this year because the match volume is very overwhelming, understandable, and that's just, you know, just gotta do what you gotta do when it comes to it then. But let me get back to the very fair story that I was trying to talk about, which is my dad having stats story. Like, my dad is super savvy when it comes to, like, understanding trends and all that. Because, like, yeah, again, like, he had, like, Apple stats, which I don't know how his family had it. When it comes to it then, again, back in the day before, like, Apple was even going to be very popular or anything like that, or so, I guess. Which was, like, hey, holy crap, Dad, what the heck? This is cool. And, yeah, you sold the stats to America. I mean, of course, for a good reason when it comes to it then, because otherwise I wouldn't have ever existed here in America when it comes to it then, so it's not like saying, you what? It's just more of like, okay, that's actually really cool on its own, Dad. I also probably need to export this as its own thing real quick then, and then I'll start working on this, like, on the sheath itself. Those are my thoughts. Or rather, okay, hold on. I need to make a few copies of this. So I divide this up. then is I would need to get rid of this here. Give me a moment, I'm just thinking to myself real quick. If I copy you, instead of paste you, no, you're not gonna go back there. Okay, in that case, I might just, oh, what am I doing here? I just have to copy paste you and flip you. What I'm trying to do is just make like a contiguous piece of the dagger without the hilt head. That way that can be potentially the dagger itself. Or it might just be overcomplicating things. I just need to make like the cover one piece on its own. Oh, one piece is real! But going back to that, like, yeah, I don't know how my dad got those thoughts, but like, he's always been super savvy when it comes to like analyzing trends and just like following, you know, like how markets are going and all. Because I'll tell you this, of like, he let me in on like one secret that I really wish I invested into. He's not a gamer, or rather, like, he was only a retro gamer, which is why I got into it. So he had an SNES and whatever stuff like that, but he doesn't do any big gaming at all otherwise, as just like a parent, right? The most that he ever does when it comes to it then on any spectrum, if you want to say, was like back when we would play Mario Super Soldiers on the Wii together. It's kind of like father-son bonding experiences when it comes to it then. But I remember this was, I think, like 2 or 3 years ago. Not like me being in college. He just on a car ride, I think like after church or something. He just casually asked me, "Hey son, what's your opinion on like Nvidia, or like how important is it in like the gaming world and all that?" And I'm like, "The heck, Dad? Why are you asking about Nvidia? Like, this is such a TED question that I never would have expected you to have ever asked, or anything like that, or so. So like, what's this here?" And he was just like, basically asking me for like market trend advice or so. So I told him exactly, you know, what I thought about the Nvidia stock and all that. And essentially, it just like buttoned out to him, just going like, "Okay, I think I have an idea then." Fast forward to. Okay, hold on. I think I need to curve like this piece up on its own a little bit more. So I'm gonna be making the sheath. The dagger itself doesn't need to be anything. Alright, the dagger itself just needs to sit in a little bit more, which I can adjust. The sheath itself just might need to be a bit thicker. However I position the dagger shape-wise or so. In fact, the dagger doesn't need this little part here. Which is what I was trying to make earlier then, when I was trying to remove this one specific shape, you know? How did I break you up? Honestly, I have no idea how I did that. Fact is, let's work off of this. But yeah, like, that's what Nvidia stock, and then he just like casually tells me like maybe 2 weeks later that he just has a bunch of like that. Like, yeah, he just like so then like fast forward to me like 2 weeks later, and he just tells me like, "Hey," like I just asked him about like, it's like, "Do you like when the anniversary story comes up if he ever bought any more stock?" And then he just drops the bombshell on me of like, "Oh yeah, I do have some stock. I just bought some Nvidia, and I'm just gonna sit on that for a few years." And on one part of my mind, I'm thinking like the SpongeBob fish right there. You what? But on the other end, I'm thinking to myself, holy crap, my dad is a freaking genius. He has Nvidia stock that, like you said, he's just going to sit on, not touch in like a nice investment account, and we'll just let sit for a good amount of years until like when it just like probably just gonna keep splitting, and then have a nice little retirement fund fortune that he just gets to enjoy. Like, what the heck? Dad, you're so based for this. And You just casually invested into Nvidia? Man, I was actually, if that was your entire end game plan, I should have asked. That way I could get a little bit more involved, and that way I could have gotten a bit more involved, and maybe asked if he could like open up like some stock, open up a stock market account or something, however that works, so I could get a cut of this Nvidia stocks that you're investing into for the future. And that's awesome, yo. I will say this, but like, my God, that was something that like I never necessarily expected out of him. Or at least, he said I didn't expect him to ask about like my gaming interest past at all, and he used that knowledge to just convert it into, all right, he has its own like, you know, passive income that he'll be making, considering how Nvidia's been doing really good. Now then again, this is past all the AI stuff or so, but at least like market trend wise or so, Nvidia hadn't been going anywhere for quite a while, and you know, we'll see how the AI bubble pops, especially with the OSS and everything like that. But point is, that was like a really savvy investment out of my dad, and it just surprised me, is all. Okay, so let's go with this shaping and everything like that for now. The fact is, I'm not gonna be able to, like, unless I slot it in perfectly, the Dagger's not gonna fit completely all the way in, or if I print it this way, the Dagger's gotta fit, like, completely into that sheath there. So, what I'll probably want to do is, for the sizing of this, I'm gonna put this to the side right here. And as usual, I'm going to go back home and make a copy of this, that way I don't blow everything up. Duplicate. So in case I make any irreversible changes I don't like, I can go back to this here. I want to increase the size by like a decent amount, like of the Dagger itself is what I mean. Because if I make it solid, and then just, because here's the problem here. Or give me 1 second to sip some water and then I'll go on to this. Okay. Here's the problem with this here. If I cut it exactly so, this is going to be the inside of the Dagger itself here, as you're seeing here. But I'm going to have one major problem with this, which is, unless I am able to clear it all out completely here, there's no way for me to actually, not just fix, there will be no way for me to actually fit the Dagger in completely. So what my plan is that with the Dagger here, I am going to blow up the side a little bit. So I'm going to extend it by just a bit in pieces. That way the inside has a little bit more, that way I can maybe fit the inside more, or I'm going to make the sheath 2 parts, would be one idea then, to where I can maybe like cut it in half right here, is another thought of mine that comes to my mind. So once I get the pieces, I could maybe cut it in half, like divide it into 2 parts, make some holes that way I can put dowels in, and I can just keep popping those dowels in and out when I need to put the Dagger back in. The fact is, when I print this out, unless I print it with no supports, which I can print this Dagger in actually up top, then I have no way to perfectly fit it. But I'm gonna have to run this through some potential tests. Now, of course, I have 2 months right now to figure it out. So let's print this. Let's export this as one idea, is my thoughts here, and then I'll go on from there. So export Rose Dagger 0.1. Now try to expand it a little bit and go with the other ideas afterwards. That's Rose Dagger 1. Let's export this selected shape. Rose Dagger 2, and I'm going to save that exactly so. With those naming schemes. And then go on from here, where, again, if I make this, if I make that a hole, and then look at it here. Let's throw my bullet point a little bit since I already have a copy that I can work with without a problem. Let us take a thin slice. Come on now, Tinkercad. You can do your magic. Okay, combine these two. Please. Thank you. And let's make this... Well, first, let's try to make this like a non-zero thing here. That's only, yeah, 0.1. So let's make you 0.5 wide, if it gets me. No, 0.1. Okay, in that case then, I just gotta make you a 1. And for now, I can cut like maybe right here with this intersection. That wasn't making it 2 separate pieces. Would do well. Oh, also if I dowel it, then that won't be the smoothest thing in the world. Because what I'd do with this here is that'll let me easily insert the dagger more, and then I just have to, yeah, draw small dowels. This is going to be small already, and I'm going to have very thin dowels. So that actually might not work the best. Well, I could also be overthinking things when it comes to it then, and trying to find a solution to a problem that doesn't necessarily exist if I can just print this upright. So let me actually boot up Cura real quick and see how that works. So I'm going to change my window to Cura, my 3D printing slicing software. So I'm going to have to size this up, absolutely. So let's say like 200. That's decent. Now, if I print it with supports in this case then, how would you look then, my friend? This is 40% info with tree supports. 11 hours, not bad, but where are those supports printing? Are they printing on the inside? No supports on the inside. It can actually support itself. That is actually very promising, and that can be done. I might size this up a little bit more, though. Now, this could be hitting the edges of my printer, but I'll see how that works. But I think 250 would be good, because this could be a big enough dagger on my side, then. And if I walk over to my build plate real quick... Yeah, I want this to be a grabbable dagger again, too, at the end of the day here. So I think this will be good, but this is going to come down to how big the dagger is, and if I can size it at 250% too. Give me 1 second, though. Okay, so I walked into my room to try to find a tape measure. I couldn't find one, so I was trying to measure it out. Oh, well. Do you want to sleep? Calls me. I'll talk to you later, homie. Yeah! Just thank you again for coming on by tonight when it comes to it. Plus, we'll have more chances to interact for the future. So 18 hours, but supports would still only print on the bottom, then that's great potentially, but comes down to the actual dagger itself. That's going to be too big for the printer at 250. Now, if I printed it this way, still not going to work. So what I might have to do is actually separate this to be dowel ends. Make the dagger itself actually doweled out. Doweled out 2 separate shapes. So if I separate this... separate all of these here. Move this down. Cut you. Cut you. Or again, not what I wanted. Here we go. We get these 3 shapes. Yeah, I was about to say, what happened to you, sir? Come on. Need your big circle to go away. Perfect. Now I can combine these. So I might just have to print these parts separately. And then what might then have to be the idea here is cylinder, rotate, make this a very thin cylinder that I can stick like a good dowel into. I think this is the idea I might have to run with then. So I'm going to print the Dagger in 2 parts, because then when I get to combining it, it'll hopefully stick all together then. It can be something almost like that, hopefully. Exactly as we have it there. But point is that I need a dowel to run through this as best as I can. So however long I need the dowel end width, however thick I can make it. Fact is, if I can get a dowel that runs through the entirety of the Dagger, then that will support it structurally, and if the Dagger breaks, I don't envision it breaking during the photo shoot and all that, rather than my cosplay time with it. So, good ideas right here. Copy paste this. Move these over. Crazy. And simply one on top to one below, and get these as their own separate pieces, which I'll print at 250 then. Yes! Now how deep is this dowel going? Most of the way through, but can I keep you going? As deep as I can make you, honestly. And same for you here, sir. How deep does this dowel go? As deep as I can get you without it breaking as well, or without it making any weird intersection points as well too. Good. That might be the game plan then. It's 1 dowel that I'm getting, but that can be good. Might be better for a 2 dowel setup, but since it's going to be sitting in my pocket the entire time, I think it'll be fine, and it's being a centralized dowel as well. So let us export these. I realize I've been on the freaking wrong thing the entire time, because I didn't go back to it. Okay, what I did is I took this Dagger, I cut it up into 2 pieces, and I put a solid cylinder through each of these here. That way, because since it wasn't fitting all the way through, that way whenever I get to it, I will be printing these with a hole in them, exactly so here, which is where the dowel will go. Then I'll just buy a wood dowel, that I'll run through, I'll super glue to the opening of when it comes to it then, and hopefully that'll work. Only thing is that, at least a cutoff angle wise, it's gonna look like this, is my problem. So, last thing, naturally before I print, is that I need these ends to exactly so be squared away just about. So I can do something like this maybe. I need these dowel ends to line up again. In a nice neat way. So let's say if I had it like this. This is just theory cutting. Right now, I need this end to be flat, that way the Dagger can connect. So that might be it. Or I did. Make copies of this real quick. Cut this down here, cut this down here. that way it's flat. So when I have the dagger connect, it would be like that just about, where that's when the dowels will actually meet together and eat, just about. So that's fine. Now, the shape of it isn't the most beautiful, which is something we can still work on. Seeing how it looked so elegant like that earlier. Now, I don't know how I'm going to replicate that well enough then, but at least as it stands, again. Now, as I would say, how much of a perfectionist am I to be right here? I mean, it is my cosplay. Nobody's expecting me to actually pull out the rose with the dagger for crying out loud right now. So this is my own perfectionism, but it still is my prop. I think I'll just print it as it is right now, just so I can get a working copy. So if there's any more changes I want to do, then I'll get around to that then. But I need to just actually, I need to have something at the very least to work off of to begin with. So let's name this, that is Rose Top Dagger, Rose Bottom Dagger, Rose Whole Dagger, Rose Dagger Sheath. Okay, and let's go back to Kira and cut these. Or see how viable it is to cut, in that case then. So again, that's at 250, which is too big, but if I take all these pieces together then, at 250 for the dagger top, that'll fit onto things there well enough, and I just need to see how well this cuts. You know what else will know? Yeah, it's my own pride as a cosplayer when it comes to it then still. 7 hours, support structures, nothing needed when it comes to it then. As you're seeing, the dowel end exactly as with all the layers on this will go almost the entirety of it. I might want to shorten it a little bit here, because with the dowel going all the way, this could be a little bit of a brittle end. But since it actually circles around, I might just be worried over a little bit too much over nothing then. It's just, again, I just gotta go to a craft store and find a dowel that fits it, which means I'll bring like, when I print this out, I'll bring both ends of this dagger and see how that fits hilariously. Yes, I will be bringing an entire dagger into a thrift store, into a cosplay store. But it's fine. Okay, save this as Rose Top Dagger 7 hours. I was just checking what my teleport list is on right there. Rose Bottom Dagger. 250. Yeah, this is at 40% infill, so it's not going to take too much. What's your space? It's not going to take too much on my filament, at the very least. 8 hours. Same situation right here, where no thing except at the bottom here. Now it's showing that a little bit of support will be needed on the inside, but I can crunch that out if it comes to it then. Otherwise, that is fine to take up the majority of the frame. And it'll be the fact that it's one big long dowel means that it should be a little bit more secure in how the constitution is. Dagger 8 hours, save that exactly so. And then finally, again, going back to that sheet. Is if I'm printing everything at 250, it'll be the majority of the printer, and then that'll be a nice big dagger that I can work with then. Hopefully it should be one I can easily slide in and out, and if I need to sand it down a little bit, then I'll sand it down. And actually, technically, if I think about it, it'd be better to actually print it at maybe like let's say 60 in this case then, or like 275 for the sheath, because then it is just going to be a little bit bigger for the dagger to slide in and out of without it necessarily having to hit or anything like that. Or without it have to be the exact size for it to slide in and out there. I think actually might be better for that rather than trying to size it in Kira overall. Or rather in Tinkercad, which might be the better thing. And so to reach to get to my printer. So let's experiment real quick. If I flip you. and you print it upright on my printer. How much will that take out of support? So that was 23 hours. If I do it this way, and that'll also be hitting the sides of my printer, which might not be the most structurally secure. But if I print it this way then, where it will be hanging up, still 23 hours, 3 supports, and I'll have one big support structure going all the way up. That might be a little bit more secure, honestly. Because at the very least too, like for it being the sheet, I'm not gonna have to stand on as many edges. Well, it's gonna take a day to print, so let's go ahead and just take a look at that either way then. Dagger sheet. And quite frankly, I think I would call it on that note right there then. We'll see how that works. I'll just have to have Priscilla run for 3 days and, well, go on from there quite frankly, you know? Well, y'all, this was a pretty productive stream, I must say, when it comes to then, if there was anything more to say. It's already almost 11 p.m., but I'm pretty happy in that case. I think I'll probably call it there, because I need to go ahead and be editing these out to put it out otherwise then, and just chill out for tonight. So, yeah, I'm gonna be pretty happy with that tonight, y'all. Wherever you are, wherever you may be, whether it's on Twitch or YouTube or more, it's been your Wonderful Wind Mage, the Cruz Ship servant, Chartreuse Proxy, ever and always at your service now. Whether it be morning, afternoon, evening, or night, at least from my side of the world, have a wonderful night. I will see if I'm back tomorrow or not, quite frankly. Everything is pretty rough, again, as life has been going, so we'll just see what I can or can't do for my trade event. But hopefully it's good, hopefully I'll be able to make good progress and keep updating you on both cosplay and what I want to do then for streams in the future. Have a good night now, y'all.